1.
All right, welcome to the second review of the week for Fragments of Silicon Reviews. Up next is Swarm Universe. All right, so this is a top-down shooter with a
shooter.
Air quotes.
that yeah. Well, that's how they describe it.
I know, and there is a mechanic in the game that's called shooting, but it's not like most shooting that I've done.
Yeah. So, yeah. This is a all right. So, this is a not a twin stick shooter. It looks like one if you look at the screenshots or if you look at our gameplay footage here, but I can assure you it's not. It's its gimmick is much more interesting and unfortunately infuriating than that. So
It's all momentum based.
right. So instead of having the rank and file, move with one analog stick, fire, a laser beam or a gun or something like that, you have a whole bunch of particles that surround your ship, and the, and it's physics based, or at least more physics based than say Geometry Wars was.
Yeah, when you move the particles, which are your swarm, try to follow you. And your main control options, I would argue almost your only control options, are to shoot, which basically when you shoot all of the particles in your swarm continue on their path away from you. Like they continue on their path and continue further away from you, and
Right.
dashing, in which you move forward and they move with you, and they
Right.
kind of protect you, but not necessarily as well as you'd like.
So basically, inertia is a thing in this. In fact, it's your main attack method because how to make effective use of your swarm is usually you move in one direction to make the let's call them bullets in the other direction, and then you'll press the button and have them fan out and kill the enemies. You know, and I'll be honest, I've seen the concept in other games before, but I don't think I've ever seen it in a twin stick shooter, and certainly not like this.
Yeah, and you can see on screen if you're looking, you have a yellow circle around you that's very light that covers honestly almost all of the screen vertically and maybe like half of it horizontally.
Right.
And while within that area, your swarm will move towards you if you're not telling it to do anything else. But
Right.
if you shoot them so hard that they go outside of that, you have to get them back inside of that before you'll get them back.
Right, and I think, and other things that this game does that other, well, that twin stick shooters don't do is your multiplier is done in a different fashion. Instead of it being um, kill the enemies, keep killing the enemies, and then if you get hit, your multiplayer goes down, or if too much time elapses, it goes down. Instead, killing the enemies will yield unfortunately colored yellow globes.
Yeah, they look too much like you and your swarm.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, this really should have been another color to differentiate it from your swarm, because these are the things that increase your multiplier. Not.
I guess the theory of it is probably yellow is the color of things that don't kill you.
I guess it's still. I guess that makes
it is awkward.
It's like it's something that would have been so simple and so easy to fix. Like, that being said, so the unintentional theme of this week seems to be games whose gimmicks are really interesting and unique, but are also really cumbersome. And for basically the same reason too. The key word here is precision. I'm like, while the
You don't have much in this game, just like you didn't have much in Tumbleseed.
yeah,
You
yeah,
will kill yourself by accident a lot.
Yeah. Although
this game is actually fairly forgiving life-wise because you gain like ring levels, and when you get hit, you like lose a ring level, but then your remaining ring levels after a little while.
Yeah.
You don't take damage immediately, and as long as you don't take more damage before your ring comes back, you're good. But
yeah, that's probably done because, well, here's the thing: you're gonna have problems aiming. There's just no other way to say it. You know, because and you're gonna tire quickly of just wanting to kill the enemies but being unable to because you don't have it in position or you don't have enough of the swarm. Different enemies do die at different levels of yellow cell yellow bullets, let's call them. And it can get frustrating. It's worth noting that there are, in terms of stages, there are two kinds of levels. There's the rail levels here, where you have to go through some nondescript corridors, killing enemies, getting to the end. And then there's the, honestly, the better levels, the arena levels, where
you have to dodge around in an arena and kill enemies while they try to kill you.
Yeah. I'm like, having the tighter spaces makes the combat system much more palatable. I'm like, especially since one of the best moves you can do is, bounce the swarm off a wall and have it bounce the way you want it to. Believe me, I did that more than once. Like, yeah.
And the swarm gets pretty cohesive when you're swinging it around you, but after you shoot it, it spreads out pretty rapidly.
Right. And another valid strategy, it's called slingshotting. You keep the concentrated swarm around you, and it will be much more damaging. But it's not that effective.
Yeah.
Now, if you've been watching our gameplay footage here, you'll have seen Bot 7. So this game really likes Portal.
Yeah, he's your AI navigator guy who's totally not evil.
Yeah, and
you can tell he's not evil because after he gets you killed in the tutorial, he apologizes.
Yeah. And the premise of them outside the tutorial is, I don't know, he basically thinks you want a story, so you're rescuing a princess from an evil Dark Lord. But he notes because they don't have the budget, he has to play all the characters himself. That's why.
So the princess is him wearing a blonde wig.
Yeah, yep. And the evil Lord is him colored red. I'm like, in terms of
he even looks very like the AI cores in Portal. He's a ball with an eye-shaped pattern, just orifice.
He could be the next Watley, I suppose. Like, in terms of content, there's a lot of it. Player mode. I'm up to I want to say the final boss fight with Bot 7, but I'm honestly not sure. But there's also multiplayer modes.
Yeah, I really hope him being evil was not supposed to be a surprise because.
Yeah. Anyway, multiplayer modes like free for all, team play, up to 8 players, and capture the flag. I don't think anyone here had There were no games being played when I played it, and I think that was the case for my cohorts here. And I don't think we aligned our schedules enough to actually delve into the multiplayer session. I'm like, but given that there's nobody playing this online, it's not like it's not something I can recommend for the multiplayer session unless you've got a group of your own friends, because I don't think you're going to find uh, a game online. It's possible, but it's
Well, how long has this game been out?
I think it's been out since December.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Let me just check on that. When did this come?
March 30th, 2017.
I'm thinking of another game.
Okay, so it's not, but it's not like it's brand new. It's a few months old.
Yeah. And I suspect that, like, this is just one of those games that got buried. And the only reason I knew about it was because it came in one of my weekly distribute emails. Like, so, I thought it looked interesting enough to review, and well, here we are. Like, but anyway, neither like the real draw in terms of content is the user generated content. Like, and I am pleased to say there's a fair bit of that. Let's see, like, and if you want to create your own content, it's pretty easy. There's a level editor.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's got
this seems like a good game for that, at least.
Yeah, it's like
the mechanics are simple enough that you can figure out how it works.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Honestly, I definitely recommend it more on its user-generated content than its multiplayer works. Like, you can still get it, but like I said, I don't envision a lot of games being played online at any one time. So graphically, this is probably the weakest area. It's like it like there's no easy way to say it, but it looks pretty generic. Like, it doesn't look bad or anything. It looks like every twin stick shooter I've ever played. And honestly, that gets to my biggest problem with the game, is that it's a game that's mostly getting by on its gimmick. The whole swarm universe thing, the whole swarm as your combat system is really the only thing that makes this game stand out. Maybe the user generated stuff, but that's not a main feature. That's a side benefit. And I've been torn about this all week. It's like, on the one hand, having a more conventional attack system would have alleviated a lot of frustrations I had on the game, but on the other hand, that really would have ripped any sense of individuality this game had from its identity.
I don't know. I feel like you could have hybridized it somewhat. Oh, and the controls are a little bit weird, I found. You use one stick to move around, and by default, the shoot and dash are mapped to the bumper buttons. And you can remap things, but I tried, for example, because of how I prefer to play games, to map the shoot and dash to the left and bottom of the face buttons. And doing so overwrote those functions of the advanced dialogue and skip, which was weird. You can't have them be both that and combat functions at the same time. And I wasn't sure that they were working properly when I mapped them to the triggers. So.
Yeah. Like, the music, well, once again, it's fairly standard techno flair. Like, that you'd expect from not just say twin stick shooters, but a sci-fi game in
Yeah, it's
general.
a sci-fi top-down shooter.
Yeah, you know, it's not bad music, but it's
Yeah.
not exactly going to surprise anyone with its licks
Hmm.
either. And in this case, no, the soundtrack isn't available, but it's not something I'd recommend either. It's like it's something it was definitely music that was nice while playing, but I never listened to outside of the game. Uh, and finally, price. This game is available for $9.99, which is
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good price for it, I think.
yeah, I think that's about the price it should be.
Is there a
Maybe
demo available for this?
let me see. Is there a demo?
Yeah.
Multiplayer
See.
online. I'm not full. I don't think there is.
I don't think there is.
Because like
So
this would be something that you'd probably want to try and see before you'd throw down the $10 for it. Because the controls are kind of infuriating.
right. Yeah, I suppose there is a bit of a buyer beware here with with the wonky controls and the gimmick and all that. But
I still think it's worth trying out, but it is difficult and possibly a little bit frustrating to control.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I guess along those terms, maybe wait for a Steam sale. But it's only $10. Like, so we're not talking about that much money if you don't like it, but it's definitely enough money where I go, um, yeah, yeah. It's hard to say because I don't think there's any. I'm not seeing a demo for this,
Mhm.
so there's no try before you buy.
Like this is another one of those games that would definitely serve it well by having a demo available.
Hmm. Well, that's up to the developers. Maybe one will come down the line. I mean, it's only a couple months old at this point, like, and demos have, but I wouldn't hold your breath.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a solid enough game. Like, I definitely like playing this more than say Tumbleseed. Like, Tumbleseed was just 5,000 shades of infuriating after a little bit of time.
Mhm.
Yep.
This was just, you know, this was just mildly annoying when my shots kept missing because, well, the inertia just wasn't in the right position or anything like that. Um, so, final thoughts from the rest of the cast here.
It's an interesting concept, but just like Tumbleseed, its controls hold it back.
Mm.
Yeah, well, and again, like Tumbleseed, the controls that hold it back are kind of part of the entire concept of the thing.
Mhm.
I think it's fun. It's still interesting to play, and I have found this less frustrating than Tumbleseed, even though I literally couldn't make it out of the tutorial. I literally like 15 times I just completely blotched on the stage where they ask you to score 25,000 points as fast as possible, which you're supposed to do by getting up your multiplier, but I died trying to get my multiplier up usually. Because my other option was kill individual guys for like 3 hours.
Yeah. If you can get your shots down right, this game can be fun.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think that'll about do it for this week in reviews. Um, the week ahead. First of all, on MSP this week, what's happening there, Petty Fan?
Our guest we are having is Jake Williams of Bright Sun Films. He does a YouTube series called Abandoned and a few other things.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, I still got to watch some videos of that. Like, anyway, so what's happening on the Fragments Silicon side? Up first, we're having Mario Mihokovic. Mihokovic. Yeah, it's a Croatian name. Of Little Green Man Gaming. We'll be talking about the Starpoint Gemini franchise. So this is going to be an interesting one because I think this is our first coverage of a 4X game. Think Civilization and the like.
Now, this isn't any relation to the Green Man Gaming, like Steam key distributor, is it?
No, no,
All right.
no relation. So, um, a- and anyway, like I said, I'm looking forward to this because, like I said, this is the first time we'll have covered one of these games. No, I'll admit it's a genre I can't really get into because I don't have the time. Like you kind of need to have some time and patience to really get into a 4X game, like say Endless Space or Sins of a Solar Empire. I could go on. They're also really complex,
Yeah.
but you know we'll and their latest Starpoint Gemini Warlords is currently in early access, and I think it's about to come out of early access. If I'm remembering correctly. Let's see. On Wednesday, we'll be having Dmitry Kylin. It's a week of unconventional last names. He is representing Bandai Namco Games. Yeah, so Bandai Namco is returning to the program. This one was kind of a shuffle because we were going to talk about the upcoming Naruto game, Naruto Legends, Naruto to Boruto. That got delayed because they don't have much to talk about right now. This is a thing that's looking to be happening in the fall. But they did offer us a fallback, and so they gave us Dimitri here, who's going to be talking about Chroma Squad.
I've already played Chroma Squad because I thought like it was a pretty neat thing. It's basically a build your own Power Rangers team and or Power Rangers team TV show cast. It's one of those things where the fiction gets a little bit blended with what's really happening.
I'm also expecting Naka to do a let's play of this at some point because, well, it looks up his alley.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And
People have
you
been
can
trying
make your
for.
TV all red if you want to.
I believe people have been trying for weeks to get him to play it on Fragment Fridays.
Wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, Bandai Namco Games published the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of this game back in January. But they apparently have access to the PC version as well because they gave us 2 PC codes now. 2 should be coming, I guess, by Wednesday. Although if you've already played it, Galix, that kind of help because not so surprisingly, the reviews for next week are going to be are going to be Chroma Squad and followed by another game called The Blob. So
The Blob, the one that was on like everything Nintendo.
Yes, actually. For those who don't know, The Blob it was originally a Wii platforming game put out by THQ back in 2009, and was just recently, like in the past couple of weeks, ported to the PC by THQ Nordic, who helpfully provided me with a code. And yeah, only I got a code on that one, so it's one of those. If you want to play this game, you got to buy it on your own.
And it's on Steam now?
Yes. It's on Steam now. I'm like, it's like I played about an hour into the game, and I'll be honest, it's a really good platformer. Quite a sight better than Voodoo Vince, if I'm being honest. But more on that next week. It's nothing against Voodoo Vince. It's just it's more the Blob seems to be the better platformer. I'm like, anyway. So that's the week ahead in Fragments of Silicon. Until Tuesday, I wish you all good gaming.